Hey guys, so I'm creating this video real quick to show you how to set up virtual host for your XAMPP. Because when you're using localhost, you will first get this when you type in localhost. And this is what comes up, and a lot of people are trying to use localhost to display their projects. So what I would recommend is creating a virtual host, and then when you type in your project, it just comes straight to here. So virtualhostdb.local is my virtual host, and it always brings me to this page. So what happens in XAMPP, so I'm in the XAMPP folder, XAMPP htdocs folder. I've got a folder for every different project that I'm working on currently. And then in the main folder is just error logs. So anytime I want to go to any one of these, I'll just type in its domain.local, and it'll bring me to one of these, like Chronos Keeper, MGT Info Center, and Visual Parts Database, which is my school project. So to make this happen, so if we did localhost and then put in the folder name, it would do this. But since it's in a second folder, my CSS is trying to back up to here, and it can't do it. So if it thinks it's in the main folder, it works perfect. So to get started, we first need to edit the host file of Windows. So what you want to do is right click on your desktop or wherever you want to and create a new shortcut. The new shortcut is just going to be a notepad. Just hit enter, and the name for it is host file. Just call it host. But I've already got one called host, so I'm just going to call it host. Okay. So we want to go to properties, go to advanced, run as an administrator, and click OK. The reason we have to run this as administrator is you cannot edit the host file unless you are an administrator. The next thing we got to do is this opening notepad right here, but we've got to add what we're going to open with notepad. So I'll open up this here again. We'll go to the C drive, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc, and then the host file is right here. So we'd want to copy all this plus host, but first I want to copy the host and just paste it, Control V, paste, just to have a backup copy in case we mess this up. So what we're going to do here is just copy this path, come over here and dump it into here, and then add slash hosts with an S, hosts, and hit apply. Okay, now that you've got that working, you can double click it. It'll give you your administrative warning. So this is your host file. Now what yours would look like is this. Just a very basic text file, and what you're going to do is for every one of the projects that you're working on, you can call it whatever you want. I would recommend using .local since the internet DNS does not use that. So, and it's always going to point to this IP right here, 27.0.0.1, which is home, your local computer. That's why I call this local. So anytime you type this into your address bar, it'll always bring you back to this. So once you save that, I'm not going to save since I've already got it working. Save that, close it out. Now we're going to go into our XAMPP. So open up your control panel, and you want to go to Apache admin, or config, Apache config, and browse the Apache file. So that'll pull up this. You want to go to your config folder, go to extra, go to httpd vhost, which is your virtual host. And this is just a config file for creating virtual hosts, and it gives you some examples here of what you can do. I'd recommend looking up all that you can do because there's a lot you can do. So here is the default virtual host. It's just grabbing everything coming from here, which is what you type when you type in localhost. Now, starting from here, now all these are my different ones up through here. But I'm going to show you the very last one, which is, I did this for a buddy at school. So we'll look at this one. So here's a virtual host. So you type in this, then your path, or your, not path, your domain. So the one you just set up in your host file, virtualpartsdb.local, then your path to where it's actually at. This is the document root. So whenever you type that in, it automatically goes to here. And then the server name is virtualpartsdb.local. And then you can put your error logs anywhere you want to. You don't even have to have them, but I like having these to debug. And then you're going to come down here and put directory, and then the path again. And then here's just some options, which, like I said, you'll probably want to look this up and find out what options you want to allow. But for a quick one, I would just copy this and use it in yours, just changing the name of my project with your project, and then it'll work right after that. So once you do that, you want to close this out, save it, close it out. I'm not saving since I've already done this. And then come back to your Apache, stop it, start it. And then once it loads back up, as soon as you type in this and this, your domain.local, it'll pull up your website. And this comes in real handy if you're working on multiple websites and you want to keep them in the same folder without having to use the localhost / whatever folder your project's in. I try to stay away from that because that's not what happens on your production server. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer it or help you set this up. Thank you.